$50,000. That was the amount Pernell Roberts, the star of the legendary television series Bonanza, paid filmmaker Marcus Webb in 2008 with a strange request: record 6 hours of interviews, then destroy everything immediately. The 80-year-old man, who was battling pancreatic cancer, knew he was nearing death, and he wanted to take his secrets to the grave. But Webb secretly made a backup, and 14 years after Roberts' death, when the final tapes were released, the world was stunned. He named 5 men he hated with a burning passion and would never forgive, including those who had once been his closest friends. Why would a star walk away from a role earning $900,000 per episode? And who were the men who turned his life into hell? Welcome back to the channel. If you grew up watching American television in the 1960s, you surely remember Bonanza, the legendary Western series that once dominated the airwaves with 60 million viewers each week. And Adam Cartwright, played by Pernell Roberts, was one of the most beloved characters. But then in 1965, the unthinkable happened. Roberts announced his departure from the show at the very height of its success. The public was outraged, calling him a traitor, ungrateful and disloyal. For the next 40 years, he lived in bitterness, was blacklisted and nearly forgotten. But before he died, he left behind recorded tapes, a final confession explaining the real reason he walked away and revealing the 5 men he could never forgive. Today, we will uncover this shocking story. In 2008, documentary filmmaker Marcus Webb received an unexpected phone call. On the other end of the line was Pernell Roberts, now 80 years old and in the terminal stage of pancreatic cancer. Roberts made a strange offer. He was willing to pay Webb $50,000 to conduct a 6-hour interview. But there was one condition. Immediately after the recording was finished, Webb had to destroy all the tapes in front of Roberts. No keeping copies, no publishing, no trace left behind. Webb was initially skeptical. Why would a man pay to record his story only to demand its destruction? But Roberts explained he needed to speak the truth before he died. But he did not want to hurt the people who were still alive. He only wanted someone to listen, to acknowledge that his story was real, and then let it disappear along with him. Webb agreed, and over 6 intense hours at Roberts' small home in Malibu, the actor told everything, from his decision to leave Bonanza, to the years of blacklisting, to the 5 men he could never forgive. Roberts' voice trembled from illness, but his words were sharp and filled with resentment. At the end of the interview, Webb did exactly as promised. He destroyed the original tapes right in front of Roberts. But what Roberts did not know was that Webb had secretly made a backup. He believed this was an important piece of history, an untold perspective on Hollywood and on the price of standing by one's principles. Roberts passed away in January 2010, believing his secrets had been buried. But in 2024, after careful consideration, Webb decided to release portions of the interview, and the world finally heard the story Roberts had kept hidden for decades. To understand Roberts' decision, we must understand just how massive Bonanza was. This was not just a successful television show, it was a cultural phenomenon. Every week, 60 million Americans sat in front of their screens to watch the Cartwright family, a perfect cowboy family with a benevolent father Ben and his 3 courageous sons. Roberts, as Adam Cartwright, the intelligent and refined eldest son, was at the peak of his career. In 1965, when he chose to leave, he was earning $100,000 per episode, an enormous sum at the time, equivalent to roughly $900,000 today. Most people would have killed for such a job. Yet Roberts walked away. The public and the media believed he was crazy, arrogant, or simply selfish. But in the tapes, Roberts revealed the real reason. He could no longer participate in what he called a profitable lie. Bonanza, in his view, was not harmless entertainment. It was poison and racist propaganda. The scripts consistently portrayed Native Americans as savage and dangerous, Mexicans as lazy thieves, and black people rarely appeared, and when they did, it was only in subservient roles. Roberts, a strong supporter of the civil rights movement, could not accept this. He repeatedly voiced his concerns and demanded script changes, but every request was rejected. The final breaking point came when Roberts was given a script involving a romantic relationship between Adam and a Native American woman. At first, he believed it might be an opportunity to portray interracial love in a positive light. But upon reading the script, he discovered that the story ended in tragedy. The woman was killed, and the clear message was that love between different races could never succeed. Roberts refused to perform in the episode. He told the producers he could no longer be part of what he believed was harmful to society, and just weeks later, he announced his departure from the show. This was not a decision driven by ego or ambition. It was a decision of conscience, but it cost him dearly for the rest of his life. In the tapes, Roberts held nothing back. He named 5 men whom he believed played a role in turning his life into hell, and explained why he could never forgive them. Lorne Greene played Ben Cartwright, the father figure in Bonanza, and was also the biggest star on the show. In real life, he was known as a courteous and kind gentleman, but Roberts called him a coward hiding behind the mask of a gentleman. According to Roberts, Greene was fully aware of the racist issues in the scripts and even agreed with Roberts morally. But Greene refused to use his power to fight for change. Why? Because he did not want to rock the boat or sacrifice his own comfort. Roberts said, Lorne could have changed everything. He was the biggest star. They would have listened to him, but he chose comfort over what was right. When Greene died in 1987, Roberts refused to attend the funeral. He explained, "Those who are complicit in evil are worse than the evil itself, because they know what is right and still choose silence." David Dortort was the creator and producer of Bonanza. Roberts accused Dortort of selling out his original vision for royalty checks. When Bonanza first began, Dortort spoke about creating a show with moral depth, reflecting the complexity of the American West. But when sponsors and NBC demanded simpler, less controversial scripts, Dortort immediately compromised. Roberts said, "He chose practicality over ideals. He knew what we were doing was wrong, but he didn't have the courage to stand up to the network." The relationship between Roberts and Dortort completely collapsed after the interracial romance script incident. Roberts never spoke to Dortort again. Roberts did not name individuals here, but referred to NBC executives as a collective entity, a heartless machine. To them, Roberts' departure was a dangerous precedent. If one star could walk away for reasons of principle, what would stop others from doing the same? So NBC decided to punish him. From 1965 to 1979, a full 14 years, Roberts was quietly blacklisted from television. Nothing was ever stated openly, but every job offer vanished. Roberts shared, "They wanted to make an example of me. They wanted other actors to look at me and think, that's what happens when you don't obey. This was one of the cruelest punishments Hollywood could impose. Not a public firing, but making you invisible." This is the most painful part of the tapes. Dan Blocker, who played Hoss Cartwright, was once Roberts' closest friend. They laughed together, shared concerns about the scripts, and drank together after long days of filming. Roberts believed Blocker would stand by him, but when Roberts decided to leave, Blocker chose the show over their friendship. He did not publicly attack Roberts, but he did not defend him either. And worse still, when Blocker died in 1972, Roberts attended the funeral to say goodbye to his old friend. But Michael Landon forced him to leave, saying that Roberts had no right to be there. Roberts said, "Dan chose comfort over principle, and I lost the only friend I ever had in this industry." Finally, there was Michael Landon, who played Little Joe. Roberts held a bitter admiration for Landon. He said, "Michael understood the game. He knew that Hollywood isn't about right or wrong, it's about success." Landon never pretended to care about the moral issues Roberts raised. He cared only about his own career. And when Roberts left, Landon took full advantage of the opportunity to become a bigger star. Eventually, he left Bonanza to build his own empire with Little House on the Prairie. Roberts did not hate Landon for being successful. He hated him because Landon never acknowledged that his success was built on silence in the face of injustice. But among all the people Roberts could not forgive, there was one group he hated the most. Not his colleagues or the executives, but the fans themselves. After leaving Bonanza, Roberts received thousands of letters. But they were not messages of support or concern. They were death threats. People called him a traitor, an ungrateful man who abandoned the Cartwright family. They did not care why he left. They only felt betrayed because the character they loved had disappeared from their screens. Roberts said in the recordings that some letters described in detail how they would find him and harm him. Some people even showed up at his home, shouting and throwing rocks at his windows. He had to move multiple times and live in constant fear. What hurt him the most was not the anger, but the ignorance. These people had no idea that he left to protest racism. They did not care. To them, Adam Cartwright belonged to them, and Roberts had stolen that character away. Roberts came to a painful realization. Fame is not being loved. Fame is being owned. They didn't love me. They loved the image they created of me. And when I refused to play that role anymore, they felt betrayed. He added that this taught him a bitter lesson about the nature of celebrity, that the public does not want the real person. They want the illusion they believe in. For the next 40 years, even though Roberts took on other roles such as Trapper John in MASH, even though he devoted himself to civil rights causes and protested the Vietnam War, the public still remembered him only as the man who left Bonanza. Wherever he went, people did not ask about his charity work or his political views. They asked, "Why did you leave Bonanza?" No one cared that he stood up against racism when it was not yet popular. They only remembered that he had disappointed them. And that, according to Roberts, was the greatest torment of his life, being forever defined by a courageous decision that everyone completely misunderstood. In the final minutes of the interview, Roberts was asked whether he regretted his decision. He was silent for a long time, staring out the window toward the Malibu Sea, then said in a trembling voice, "No, I don't regret it. I was poor. I was blacklisted. I was lonely. But I could look at myself in the mirror without turning away." For Roberts, the ability to live with a clear conscience mattered more than money, fame, or public approval. He added that during the years he was blacklisted, he did all kinds of work to survive, from waiting tables to carpentry. There were nights when he lay in bed in his small apartment, wondering whether he should call Dortort and apologize, ask to come back. He knew that one phone call could change everything. But every time he considered it, he remembered the racist scripts, the distorted images of native people and people of color, and he knew he could not return. Roberts said, "I chose what was right over what was easy, and I paid the price. But at least when I die, I will die as myself, not as a fraud." He shared that in his final years as illness ravaged his body, the only thing that brought him comfort was not lost money or fame, but pride in the fact that he had never compromised with what he believed was wrong. But he also admitted a bitter truth he had learned. Sometimes the people who are right end up lonely and bitter, while those who compromise die wealthy and celebrated. He looked at the life of Lorne Greene, remembered as a legend Michael Landon, beloved as a symbol of kindness, and himself, remembered as a traitor. He said, "History is not always fair, and the public does not always understand. This is not a fairy tale with a happy ending. This is the story of a man who stood firm in his principles and paid the price for the rest of his life. Was it the right choice? Roberts believed so. But he also wanted the world to know that doing the right thing is not always rewarded, and sometimes the price of keeping your conscience clean is a life of loneliness and misunderstanding." In the final moment of the interview, Roberts said, "If I could go back, I would do the same thing. Because in the end, the only thing we truly own is our conscience." The story of Pernell Roberts is a powerful reminder of the cost of integrity in a world that values profit over principle. He gave up everything, money, fame, friendships, to avoid taking part in what he believed was wrong, and he was punished for it. But he also left behind a legacy, a reminder that sometimes standing up for what is right matters more than being loved. If this story made you reflect on something, please like and subscribe to support content like this. Don't forget to turn on notifications. What do you think about Pernell Roberts' decision? Was he right to walk away, or should he have stayed and tried to change things from the inside? If it were you, would you choose money and fame, or a clear conscience? Share your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video, and remember, Sometimes the greatest value is not what we gain, but what we refuse to compromise. Stay true to yourself.